Good evening and welcome to Transparent Tuesday. I hope that you guys have all had an amazing week. And I am your host, Frances Dupree. I'm here to be Transparent Tuesday with you. To be transparent with you. I'm so sorry. Every time I get on here, believe it or not, I am very nervous because I want for my audience and those that watch my platform to get God's message. I don't want Francis to come across. I want it all to be God's glory. So every time I come on here, I always worry, God, am I making you proud? Am I giving the right message? Am I saying it the right way? So I'm always excited and I'm happy, but at the same time, I'm always nervous because I want to make him proud and I want to make sure that I get his message across and then I'm not giving you my opinion or my message, but I'm saying it the way that he wants it to be said. So if I trip over my words, I do apologize. I'm working on it. Every Tuesday that I do this, I do get better. And I appreciate you guys. I thank you guys for all the love and the feedback that I get for Transparent Tuesday. As you guys know, God's Will Ministries is doing a Thanksgiving drive and a Christmas drive. So if you're in need of a blessing or you would like to be a blessing, the website is at the bottom. Please reach out to me. As I have told you guys before, don't worry. Everything is confidential. I don't share anything unless you want me to, because I know, sometimes it's hard to tell people that you need help or you don't want anybody else to know that you need help. That's perfectly fine. I completely understand. I just want to make sure that everyone has what they need. The holiday season is approaching. If you have not gotten your copy of Marrying Outside of God's Will, make sure you get your copy. The feedback that I have gotten is awesome. It's excellent. Everyone's waiting on part 2. When God gives me the direction, I will start writing that, but he hasn't given me the go on that yet. So get a copy of Marrying Outside of God's Will. If it's not for you, make sure you bless somebody else with it. If you have not seen the reviews, I will post those. That way you can get a feel of how the message, my transparency, my testimony has reached other people and the outlook that they have gotten from reading the book. If it's not for you, it may be for someone else or someone that you know that may be in a certain situation or could use some encouragement, or just to know that they're not the only ones. We all have a testimony. We all have a journey. Sometimes we might hate the same corner, but all of our journeys are different. So let's get to being transparent. As you guys saw, the title of today is, have you ever accidentally made somebody an idol, and were you prepared when God knocked them off of his throne? One of the 10 commandments is not to have other gods and idols. And sometimes, or should I say for myself, I accidentally made my husband an idol. And I did not do that on purpose. And it wasn't something that I meant to do, just because of the love and the respect. That is what ended up happening. And God had to correct me. When you're growing in Christ, sometimes we make mistakes and we don't even realize it. And that's even just in life. But because our Father loves us so much, he corrects us and he lets us know our wrongs, and he gives us the opportunity to make it right. I am nothing without God. My family is nothing without God. So I would never want to give him the wrong impression or to put anyone before him, because I know that we're nothing without him and we wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for him. I personally would not be alive if it was not for God, because I attempted suicide so many times and it was nothing but God that I did not kill myself. Or when I was having those times that I cut myself, that I didn't cut the wrong vein or the wrong artery and bled out. So I never want God to feel jealous or to feel that I'm putting anyone ahead of him. The love and the respect that I have for my husband, I made him an idol. I didn't mean to, and I didn't even realize it. I thank God for bringing it to my attention. I thank God for teaching me the lesson. Um, this was a very hard lesson for me. My husband is an amazing man. You know, he is not a god. He's not an idol. He is just like everybody else and makes mistakes. And he has a past just like I do. And some of the things in his past, and let me make this clear, no, my husband has not beat me. No, my husband has not cheated on me. So, you know, those are the first things that people think. No, that's not what happened. But he has things in his past. And I just never thought that it would come up in our marriage. So when certain things transpired, I'm transparent about myself. I cannot go into details about someone else's testimony, but certain things came up and I was caught off guard. I didn't expect that to happen. I didn't expect for these behaviors. You know, I love him. He's an example to our children. He is the overseer of our household. And being blinded by love and being blinded by respect and being blinded by the fact that I'm dealing with a different kind of man, the man that is a father, a husband, a friend, an overseer, a guider. And I have all of this respect and all of this love for him. I did not realize that I had put him on a pedestal. I didn't realize that in my mind, it was like he couldn't do any wrong or he wouldn't make certain mistakes. But he's human and those things happen. So when it was brought to my attention and God had to show me, you're not, you know, you're not an exception. Things are going to happen. No marriage is perfect. Nobody, this man is not an idol. He's your husband. You love him. He loves you. He respects you. But you have to see him for who he is. You have to love him and accept him for who he is, not the idea of what you think he is. And that was really hard for me. It was hard for me for one reason because, as you guys know, growing up, I was a foster child. And one of the first reasons that I attempted suicide and I cut myself is because I felt as though my mom did not love me and my father did not love me. My husband is my first love, and he's the first person in my life to show me pure and genuine love, to show me that I was worthy to be loved, to show me that despite the way that I grew up and the mistakes that I made, that there was still somebody that would love me no matter what. So because of this, I saw him in a different light than everybody else. And I accidentally put him on a pedestal. So God had to kick that pedestal over and say, no, he's human, just like you, just like everybody else. So I had to come to terms with that. And it was very, like I said, it was hard because he's been my hero since I was 17. I just made 33. And this situation was really, really hard for me. It was a battle. I feel like the lesson that God was trying to teach me, the enemy crept in and got into my mind and made it worse and more than what it actually was. I thank God for my mother-in-law. You know, she came out here to see about me, to make sure that I was okay. And she reminded me that I'm not a victim and I'm an overcomer. And then I had to get into prayer. And I had to, you know, I'm a certified life coach now. So I had to coach myself and say, no, you're not going back to that dark place. You're not going to struggle with these mental health issues that you have already survived. You are still able to be loved. He still loves you. None of that has changed. You just now know he's human just like everybody else. He makes mistakes just like everybody else. So once I wrapped my mind around this, once I got past the battle in my mind that the enemy was trying to take me out. And once I got past that and I coached myself and I looked in the mirror and I was like, no, Francis, no, you're not going there. You're not going to be depressed. You're not going to be upset. You're not going to allow this to mess with your mental. God had to teach you a lesson. He's your father. He loves you just like you teach your children lessons. He had to teach you. And that's all it is a lesson to be learned. But sometimes when you have gone through so many traumatic things in your life and you've dealt with a lot of trauma, hurt, pain, anger, disappointment, you latch on to the good thing, to the good person, to the one that was there for you, that talked to you, and you can accidentally make them an idol. But you have to be very, very careful with that because there's only one God. There's no idols. There's no other gods. It's just one God. And God is jealous. He does not want anybody taking his place. He does not want us worshiping anyone that more than we worship him. All the time that we spend with God when we need miracles from him, all the time that we put into praying and pulling the scriptures out and being out on our face and that ugly cry from the bottom of your barrel, that's something that he wants 24/7. Consistency. Every day, give him the same amount of time, the same amount of attention, whether you need a blessing or you don't, whether your life is in shambles or it's not. But when you start not giving him the time that he deserves and you're giving it to someone else, another source, and you're putting this person ahead of them, he's not going to be happy about it, just like nobody else would be happy about it. God is not someone that you can put on the shelf when you don't need him and pull him out when you do need him. It's a constant relationship. Every day you should be in your word reading, because when you read something more than once, you get a new revelation from it. Every day you should be building your relationship with him, putting on your armor of God, staying in constant contact with him, staying in prayer. And when you do that, you won't slip. And I slipped. But I thank God that he didn't allow me to fall. He caught me before I fell. So that's why I said, have you accidentally? God knows my heart, and he knows that I would never intentionally put somebody before him because of the love, because of the respect, because I know that God has saved my life multiple times, more than once, over and over and over. I'm nothing without him. I wouldn't have anything if it wasn't for him. So not only was I hurt by the situation, but I was hurt because I felt like I let my father down. I felt like, how could you do this? How could you not realize what you were doing or not paying attention? So that just lets me know that my eyes need to be open more. That veil needs to be taken down more. I need to pay more attention, because if I was paying more attention and if I had my eyes spiritually and naturally open the way that they were supposed to be, I wouldn't have made that mistake. But it was a mistake. It's been brought to my attention. I've gone through what I needed to go through to heal and to make it right with my father. And now it's all about teaching the next person so they don't make the same mistake I did. Because that's a hard pill to swallow. It's a very hard pill to swallow when you have this superhero and they fall and their cape is taken off and it's just like a culture shock. Like, wow, I can't believe that. And it's not my husband's fault and it's not God's fault. That's my fault. But I'm glad that, God got my attention. He taught me the lesson, and now we can move forward. And I'm just sharing it with you guys because you never know. It's an innocent mistake that can be made, but it can also be avoided. Thank you guys. Don't miss out next week on Transparent Tuesday, because you never know which topic will transform your life. Make sure you look on the website. There's a lot of exciting things going on with the ministry. It's a lot of things that I have coming for you guys in the future. I love you guys, and you guys have a blessed week.